is a better place and will be a better place.
Yes, sir.
Because there's money in the country that we can live for. We don't need money from outside.
So,
but we don't want to empower people here. We say that our lawmakers, we have become lawbreakers. We have become criminals. We put all the money in the budget for ourselves and leave them out. I want to challenge some of your lawmakers. Some people say they want this senator.
Gabriel had to go steal to the main store.
Oh, so the man wanted for you to go steal from the web post store.
Yeah. He said, I'm joining to go steal to the web main store to they get money into the store. They will go take it from there. I said, my man, how many bars for the same leisure?
And how can the police catch you now?
The police before the man called me back. Now on the 18th, they more.
The same man now.
Yeah, the same man.
The same man who
Coming on the 18th. Now
when they were coming, they said they were freedom fighters. When they were coming, they said they were liberators. But when they keep their time, they change their mind. When they keep their time, they change their mind. What kind of people is it? What kind of people is it?
so he said,
Freedom fighter, you raping our women. Freedom fighter, you killing our children. Freedom fighter, you destroying our country.
then you come back to the car.
So they fool it like you.
So when I go to the man, he said, clean the car. Then
when they were coming, they said they were liberators. When they were coming, they said they were liberators. But when they came here,
so when I clean the car, you can't wait for me to spin now.
What kind of people? Freedom fighter, you raping our people.
I'm a journalist.
Freedom fighter, you killing our children. Freedom fighter, you destroying our country.
To the top. And say for me to the office.
So what next now? Nobody you getting very say ask me too much question. Hey, that's egg and bread. Okay, sorry. Don't say sorry now. Okay, sorry. If you I will not ask you the question. Okay, sorry.
Get the answer now.
Okay, explain again. I ask you no more questions. I'll be like, why? Go to school.
The thing they say, you take that.
Okay.
One more freedom for
he said, oh, my man, I let you call you by. I go to work. go to work.
If you for your working place, you can't do the man.
Yeah, from my working place to Clarence to now go to the man. So
When they were coming, they said they were freedom fighters. When they were coming, they said they were liberators. But when they
you
came,
question the thing you want for me to explain for you to understand. They still questioning me. Double in the question. How made it talk
what kind of people?
I say,
Freedom fighter, you raping our freedom fighter, you killing our children. Freedom fighter, you destroying our
so he said,
ayo.
Three pieces of bread.
We egg is that.
We add into my day. So, when you give it to the man, then you come back to the car.
So what if you make it now? You carry that to go confuse your friend.
Yeah, when I give it to the man, the man say thank you. I say okay. The man say, oh, why you going now? I say, oh, I'll go.
When they were coming, they said they were liberators.
Yeah,
when they were coming, they said they were liberators.
So
but when they
he
came,
say, clean the car. Then they are two now. Then they are two.
Big G.
Yeah.
What kind of people they so?
They are freedom fighters.
What kind of people they so?
They are freedom fighters.
You freedom fighter, you raping our women.
They are freedom fighters.
You freedom fighter, you killing our children.
They are freedom fighters.
Freedom fighter, you destroying our country.
They are freedom fighters.
Ayo. Music. Aha.
Oh, yes, indeed. What a great day. What a wonderful opportunity it feels to be back. Back behind these microphones to engage on the issues that matter to Liberia's growth and development. And of course, this is the Freedom Morning Rse on Freedom 87.9, the People's Station, your favorite breakfast platform, where we discuss the issues that matter to Liberia's growth and development. Without fear nor favor, we speak truth to power. Good morning, Liberia. Good morning. Good morning, just wherever you are this morning on our voice. Good morning to our friends in the diaspora. It's always a good thing to have you join us right here on the big station. There are too many things to talk about, lots of things happening in Liberia, and this is where you get the analysis of those issues making news. Okay, today we are going into issues both squarely on policies action by the government of Liberia as pronounced by key actors within the government. It's important to bring these things to you and of course give you our candid opinion and get your own thought on these, because government is for the people, by the people, and of the people. Democratic government, that's what it stands for. That's what it ought to be. And to generate that, you have to let the people know what is happening, and then they make their inputs. Then the inputs are considered, and then we move. So this morning, this thing about the justice complex that the president broke ground for, we saw a host of senior official of the Liberian government from the justice system. The Minister of Finance was there. The Justice Minister was there. The President, of course, and other senior cabinet officials
They say they were free
were all in attendance.
when they were coming.
What's our
They
talk?
were labor.
Is there going to be a money well spent in the face of everything that's happening in the country? What should be our national priority? A $20 million earmarked
People they so.
for the project? Yes, of course. It is a conversation we need to have to
You freedom.
ascertain exactly whether that is a smart way of spending the Liberian people money, especially this is such a time, such a condition, and that condition must inform the kind of decision you make. We have a view, we have a perspective, and of course, a Liberian residing in the diaspora, I stumbled across a very fine piece rating, and of course, I'm also going to read that and also see what sense we can make of it. And the subsequent developments about the lack of funding, the lack of contracts, the lack of a new contractor, a blueprint.
They say they were laborators. When they were coming, they said
That is an honesty issue, and we're going to look at it.
they teach their mind. When they give their ground.
And then we'll move past that and go to
What kind of
the conversation about reversing harmonization that's taking center stage. You know, we've always told you that as much as the government and senior officials of this government remain committed to deceiving and, of course, lying to the Liberian people, our job basically is to come here and bring sense to the discourse and tell you what we know, what it is, versus what they're telling you. It is their reality versus the actual picture and all of that. First of all, what is harmonization? What did harmonization mean? What will reversing harmonization also mean? To put us in the proper perspective, to know exactly whether indeed at this point it is fair to say that harmonization has been reversed, or it is just another rhetorical expedition by this dim-witted, ignorant, lying rescue regime. Oh, yes, indeed. And of course, plus other issues making news in Liberia. Mr. Alexander Cummings has been making some rounds, trying to reface, rebuild, represent himself, confronting those hard topics, those topics that for years were being dodged. So, you know what? These are some of the most embarrassing characterization in the public. And we need to confront it. We need to engage our people. And we need to start this early. And of course, he's been going around. We hope and pray that one of these days, and of course, Mr. Cummings will be right here with us as well. You too will have the chance to hear from Mr. Cummings himself. We have had some officials from his party. And like we've said, since this is a new phase, and of course we're taking the conversation beyond borders, and so we have been engaging across the and we are still engaging, so that we can bring all of the stakeholders and opinion leaders of this country around this table to have a national conversation about the way forward. What's their perspective? What's their view? There are too many that are behind there that will be coming. So look, you don't want to go anywhere because we have just what you need for your radio pleasure. This is Freedom 87.9, and of course, this is the biggest breakfast platform in Liberia. My name is Abu Sharif, your usual host, and of course, my colleague Ebo Kulik. Here got Gonda. still sorting out some personal issues. And of course, once that is done, the collaboration continues. Okay, the shipping size of the conversation right here on Freedom 87.9. Okay, today is Tuesday, and it is a beautiful Tuesday. As you see, the weather looks very, like they would say, cool and calm. Man. But yeah, it looks an unusual weather, of course, but they say climate change and other things are going on. So, of course, the way we expect and know things. But let me just bring you a few updates. Uh, okay. So, BBC reported yesterday and this morning that the son of former Libyan President Saifa Gaddafi was murdered or assassinated in Libya, and in Tripoli also. So the former Libyan president's son is dead. He was murdered. He's been killed. So that's it. So whatever the case, our hats out to the Gaddafi family as they continue to go through, from the father and then the mother. I mean, the son, who was viewed in the eyes of many Libyan as a future leader of the Libyan Republic. So Gaddafi's son is dead. And then we go to Ghana. In Ghana, there's a proposal to there is a proposal to change the name of the Kotoka Airport from the Kotoka International Airport to the Accra International Airport. So once that goes through and all of that, so it will no longer be the Kotoka International Airport, but rather the Accra International Airport. And of course, a bit of immigration news for you as well. Unlike the US, that's having an immigration crackdown in Spain, the news is that the Spanish authority have a proposal on the decks to legalize the status of over 500,000 illegal immigrants. That is a whole different thing from what is going on in the great United States of America, as we see. In America, men are deployed in the street to purge illegal immigrants, and of course, send them to wherever they're coming from. But I think the Spanish authority too. There's been a lot of political opposition to all of that and different stuff, but they're at a point where they say, you know what, we got to find out of me. So you know what, let's try to, and change these people status and make them legal and what have you, and see what happens. So that is that. So different things are happening across the world differently, and so we come back home quickly before our main menu. Let's see. There's this report in the Verity newspaper where it says manpower constraints amid limited police presence in rural Liberia. And I see the photograph of the Inspector General of the Liberia National Police, Mr. Gregory Coleman, right? So then you begin to ask, with everything we've seen, so where have the focus of the police authority been? All along, you have all these things. Our people, we were here singing song that look, security issue. Our people are left vulnerable. No security for our people. The police are mining concession grounds, concession places, and mining Lebanese merchants and stuff, and leaving our communities vulnerable and all of that, right? There's this report, not a report, but I saw this young man. He's a reporter for the Liberian Investigator. I don't know what part of Monrovia it was, but you have somebody now who has a pre-recorded megaphone with a with public caution in a public space where he has it there, and then he's cautioning people to be mindful of their phones. Hold your phone tight. Keep your phone. Put your phone in the bag. Don't be playing with the phone. Blah blah blah. And so, what does that signal to you? It signal generally that safety and security out there is no longer guaranteed. You have to be your own security. There's a breakdown. The police is only mobilized, right, empowered to go after political critics, political opponents. That's how Gregory has framed the Liberal National Police since he took over the helm of authority. And this is a fact. This is a glaring fact. And he himself is today now admitting that, of course, there's manpower constraints. So please, we don't have plenty of police. Please take all our police back from the different concessions that are giving you money and deploy them in the communities. Let these concessions be made to hire private security people. In the case of emergency, then the police can move in and provide support. I think that's how it's supposed to be, right? Especially when our communities are vulnerable, right? Our communities are vulnerable. Rural Liberia, extremely vulnerable. No security. Anybody can just go anywhere and start doing anything to our people. The police people that you can see in the community, which of course they're not plenty, that they wonder who their uniform is, they're not even correct. Least to talk, they can put fear even a 6-year-old child, you know. But the ones that actually, their presence send out a signal and deterrence, right? These ones are sent to concessionaires. That's the sad reality, and Gregory has to fix it. All the money you're buying cars, you're buying this other one, you're buying that other one, you're buying weapons. I'm told somebody was hinting me that some 20 brand new pickups, right, has been brought in the country from Guinea. We don't know what's the arrangement and all of that is being hoisted somewhere in Dupero there. We're still sending our guys to get the food and detail behind it. But this is not screen the last time the Guinean junta sent some pickups here. They have transitioned now, but we're hearing additional pickups are coming. A government that's only interested in cars, and putting themselves in cars, painting buildings, while the actual realities, the concerns of the people are left unaddressed. No security, no food, and people are just buying cars, brand new cars. Look at the vice president. The vice president brought in a fleet of brand new SUVs for his staff. And remember, he brought it not only for his staff, but people that he want to go after politically. He gave them. We're hearing something about CMC vast chair for mobilization. I'm told the vice president handed him one of the cars. Easy, right? The vice president, I think he's trying to get the guy from CMC. So if you have been following, so the Northern going, or the CMC people, there was a report that they took their pickup from how you call the guy, Mark Billion, the former senatorial candidate in Nimba, right? But the actual account from the party is that what happened normally in their party, all these fleet of vehicles that you see around, they're assigned to individual with CMC drivers and all of that. When they have to go on a party function, like maybe a tour, a trip, and all of that, they record the vehicles. And sometimes they will call the vehicle, but if you, the individual, not part of the trip, that means you can't go, but the vehicle will go because you need to transport people. I think it's the same thing that happened. But this time around, when it came back to Monrovia from the southeastern tour, they dispatched the vehicle to Billion, but Billion told the driver to carry the vehicle back and handed the key over to the security. Only to realize, as we're hearing, that the vice president cars that he brought, he has given one to Billion. So these are the things that are going on. So the politics is starting small, but it's starting small, gradually. People fitting in people backyard, and you always see these things with politics. And you always see these things with politics, people fishing people backyard and what have you. And the relationship with the vice president and Mark Billion, I think they dig far behind all of that. They all used to be in contact there selling drugs, medicine, right? They will go Guinea, they'll take medicine from there, they come and sell it in Ganta, take medicine from Ganta, go in Guinea, something like that. So they've been like that, they have it from way back. So that is that. And okay, so let's make progress. But to do so, let's take a break with Crime Stopper Liberia. When we come back, and then we rumble through the issues making news, and of course, we move to our main menu to start to have conversation. Yesterday, former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, after a visit to the Claro Foundation, made an appearance on my own puff show, Lawrence Brooklyn. Yeah, show and Clarence. I think they hosted with Clarence and Larry Brooklyn. All of them were there, and she spoke very well on some issues, which we may not have the time to talk about. But basically, this question that Clarence asked about the relationship and how it's supposed to be like, right, between former leaders and current leaders, and how did she manage as sitting as former leader? What was the relationship? Were there times that she would pick up her telephone and call President Weah and say her thought about things? Was that window open, right? Or is the communication flow? And a similar thing happening with the current president of the republic. And her response, I think, was performed as much as it was measured, but that is it. But she struck a very key point that in any given instance, the onus is on the seated president, right, to make a decision to say that, look, I need to reach out to my predecessors to say, Mr. Weir, and not in in the act of trying to question the decisions those people made, right? But rather to reach to them as peers. And you can't erase those facts. No matter what you do, you're peers. Sit in the room with them. Look, what's your thought? This is my thought. This is our country. We need to move. Yeah, I understand the politics out there. But they room there that 3 or 4 years. We're blessed to be the only 3 current and former living heads of state of this country. So the future of moving this country forward rests on our shoulders. But unfortunately, we have a man in power who doesn't see things from this general picture. He's so narrowed. He's so hateful. And until I can see President Bwaka adapt an attitude of a leader for all, trust me, I'm still going to hold on to the view that he is divisive and hateful, because those attributes that he's demonstrating now are clearly attributes that are counterproductive to the cause of unity, reconciliation, and moving a country in one accord. What will it do to you as a president? In fact, to even dignify, to even invite former leaders for state program, state programs, and then you do it and ignore, and you feel comfortable your guys are doing those things, and you're not even reminded that you will be former leader, that you deserve these courtesy, no matter how long you will be former president. That these buggers that are just there and they'll be controlling you and they're doing something that you have to, gentlemen, why? No, we need to reach out to former president. He served this office. He's a statesman, right? We can have our political differences. When the accountability issue, we can go after those ones. But the privileges that the state gave him, nobody should interfere with that. Nobody should attempt to diminish his status. When you have little boys in your government, right? Little boys in your government abusing and insulting and all of that and being rude, and your COS, as we're told, Grisby, pledged to destroy the man, and actions were taken. Mr. President, what would it do to you? For example, on the instance of the airport, what would that have done to your presidency? If Judge Weah even going to pass to that VIP lodge, was anybody in Mora going to know whether that VIP lodge we are used or not VIP lodge? Nobody are going to know. See, just little things, you create a situation. But sometimes when you're saying these things, people who are supposed to get sense, they're out there. Some of them older than us. they will still be justifying these kinds of things. No, leadership don't go that way. We are all just hell bent on this selfish political stuff. Everybody just want to be extremely political. You see somebody doing the wrong thing, you can all of that. You're trying to make this thing hateful, and you can. You can't change the fact we are became president of this country. No matter how the history of Liberia is written, it will always recognize that was president, has been president. You can't change it, no matter how you hate the reality. And the law did not say that certain former head of states are treated differently than certain former head of states. Absolutely not. So the privileges are accorded to all. Why deny other privilege? Look at your EPS. What you try to do with the main personal security. All those instances, Mr. President. Imagine you as former president being treated that way. How will you feel? Being reduced, diminished, your morale, being a center of disrespect directed from senior officials in the government, the Ministry of Information, right? Took almost the entirety of 2024 and into 2025, raining insults, disrespect to the former president office and the former president himself, even his wife. And you expect the man to be what? Right? Everybody have self-respect and self-dignity. Nobody's going to sit down and lie. Everybody man born and good. But anyway, let's see whether the president takes heed from his former boss. That's all we have to say. Crime Stopper Liberia. And when we come back, we dive more into the conversation right here. This break.
My music. There are crimes in many places, in every community, you can see. So if you see crime, report it. Don't take law in your hands for the real authority. That it can't take care of it. Crime Stopper here for us, bringing safety to your door. Whether you rich or you poor, if you see a human target, enemy you cheche. Do it for your safety. If you see it, don't keep it. You must call to report it. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crimes for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crimes for all of us.
Crime Stopper Liberia is your community crime fighting partner. Don't take the law into your own hands. Remember, if you see a crime, report it. This is a message from your own self, old man Sam Cyan.
Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crimes for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crimes for all of us.
Okay, welcome back. Okay, this is the Freedom Morning Rse on Freedom 87.9. Good morning to our friends out there, the KK Rider, the Taxi Cab, and of course the cyclists, and just all of you that always found the time to play the show and of course carry it. We're very grateful for your support, and it's all because you share in the view and the thoughts that we have about a better Liberia for all in the face of a whole new culture to delineate and of course redefine what citizenship or being a Liberian mean from the prism of partisanship, that you have to be a unity party person to be accorded the due courtesy and of course treatment as a citizen, which of course we believe no, it's not supposed to be that way. The law requires that we can all make choices, we can all decide what we want to be, what we want to do, and that does not interfere with our enjoyment of the basic social services that the government is due us, right? So it's important to know that you're not lesser Liberian citizen because you're riding keke. No, absolutely not. You're not a lesser person simply because where is this thing? Okay, let me see. There's a video. Okay. Okay. Simply because so these things are very, very important for people to consider. Okay. But look, man, the judicial complex is what we want to talk about. Great idea, great thought, and it looks beautiful. It sounds good, right? Sounds good, and that anybody would like to hear that. For many years, we have had almost all of our stuff in one place. We have had almost all of our stuff in one place. So this idea of trying to take all away from the too much rent payment on public buildings and all of that, a good thing. And former President Doe saw it very, very important that we have a space for our security system. That's how you see where they now have the ministerial complex, and that was the defense ministry, right? So he earmarked this Buzi Quarter area here for the justice, complex of the justice system. And then you're going to have the Ministry of Justice, you're going to have the Drugs Enforcement Agency, you're going to have the Labor Immigration Service, and who else again? So they're all going to be there. It's going to be a big complex, right? And all of that. Sounds good. What it's going to do on the positive end, we're not going to be paying rent for these places again across. Then the question becomes, paying rent for these places at this time, how much does it cost? Let's put the cost at the ceiling of $3 million annually, or $4 million annually across the whole justice system, those various agencies or ministries that are supposed to be there. $4 million annually that we have to pay. And how much is the government earmarking to build that? $20 million. What are the most pressing issues in the country today? Right? That you give the government $20 million. What are the things that the government should spend that money on that makes a direct benefit or impact on the people? Right? Is it that we have complex challenges, but the way you spend the money is important. The way you spend the money, it's not just about the political optics, but spending the money rightly to make the necessary impact in the life of the people. Because we could have a building constructed, mind you now, that building not going to be bringing any money to the country, right? Yeah, somebody will say, oh, it reduces you, and you can have your thought about it, right? But let's go by and see this other thing here before we talk plenty about this whole thing. So the president and his official went the program, and the ministry came back. They had some view. So the ministry informs the public that no such allocation has been approved or captured in the current national budget as claimed. Rather, the government of Liberia has uh, uh, con- has what? It's a commitment, right? Has integrated its commitment to the justice complex by identifying the project as a priority under the arrest agenda. So the government just earmark it as a priority under the agenda and all of that. But no money. Where an indicative amount of US 20 million has been placed to signal government intent and long-term planning. So the ministry issued a statement. The Ministry of Justice issued a statement subsequently that the $20 million we are talking about and people asking questions about and the whole money to build this place ain't there yet. No money in the budget. They ain't give no money for it, right? But the government only signaled to us that building a justice complex is a priority for them in the arrest agenda. And they have earmarked that they will rally, they will look for $20 million to build it. When, we don't know. How they're going to get the money, we don't know. They haven't said that to us yet. They haven't made allotment or allocation for that yet. And it's important for public information because there is lots of attempt at public disinformation or misinformation, so to speak, right, out there, particularly by political sycophants. And you can understand these are folks that's what they live by. So they will go out, they'll send some narratives out there that are not true. And sometimes it hurts the government in the end, right? Let me say this on their behalf. Because if you put up an impression out there that the government is about to build this, and then you broke ground, yesterday you carry yellow machine, they dug some places and all of that, and you're creating an impression that the work has commenced. So then when 6 months, 1 year passes, and the public is not seen, then the public start to ask. The government lied to us. You said you're building a place here, you can't put yellow machines. And here is it, the place turning like this. The same thing when Mo Ali took office, he started doing. Building, well, breaking people's structures here that they come and do the water pipe, they come and do this and clearing the drainage, blah, blah, blah. Look at the places, Central Monrovia. They've created sonins all over the place. You break this structure were shielding, some makeshift and stuff. You expose everything and you did not do any work on it because, of course, there's no money. So we're almost at similar thing with this judicial or just a complex thing, Lego house. Just for the spin, the political optics and all of that. So people say, oh, the president working. Should we run government just by mere stuff like that? Or we should remain accountable and truthful and fair to the people?
The second line. Let me go to the second line. Quick. Let me make it bigger. The ministry informed the public that no such allocation. Hey! No such allocation. Us software. Let's go back to us software. What happened here? The government has demonstrated its commitment by placing $20 billion towards this project in the arrest agenda. This is a very significant investment. So what's happening? Which one we taking? In the arrest agenda, $20 million. The first quote right here, $20 million United States dollars has already been approved in the national budget. Then today they came out and said everything we tell you now will lie. The people start admitting that everything they said the last 2 days are lie.
Fellow Liberians, so and you see how our government has turned into some kind of Pandora box, some kind of Mickey Mouse show, right? You see how the most experienced man in the country to be president has reduced the country to a laughing stock. And then when we say that, they say, so we've been very calm. We've been very calm with the issues and addressing and engaging the conversation and laying out our disagreement and why we believe that the way the country is running is not running proper, right? An entire government assemble and the minister make a comment and announce, right, to the nation that they have this money. Subsequently, when the questions were being asked by critics and all of that, the ministry issued a statement to clarify. So on every issue, our rescue government is clarifying. On every issue, every public statement that they will make, they will have to come and clarify. So why do you wear the audacity to lie and deceive the people? Right? Every time you have an opportunity in public discourse and public conversation, you speak all lies, naked lies. You put it out there. That is disrespectful to the country and disrespectful to the people and their trust. You see, when a significant number of our people opted to march in the purple water on behalf of this government, they did it with confidence and trust, believing that whatever condition it was with leadership and governance then, right, who have become better, mature, more accountable, and more responsible. And on the contrary, what do we see? Isn't this a clear embarrassment and disgrace on the part of the government? You say one thing to the Liberian people, and your how you call them, your bloggers go there.
They put the whole thing up. I just catch easy. The second line. Let's just go to the second line.
These are the people that are doing all the Baba things for Bwaka to become president.
Now, no such allocation. Hey, no such allocation. That's what we're. Let's go back to us. What happened here?
So the old judicial complex of Mirage. When there's a justice minister, telling the country that the government put 20 million.
Which one we taking? In the arrest agenda, $20 million. The first quote right here, $20 million United States dollars has already been approved in the national budget. Then today they came out and said everything we tell you now will lie. The people said admitting that everything they said the last 2 days are lie.
Okay, so let's hold it there for you. So when is our justice complex coming? Mr. President, how is it coming? You're not running a private farm here. You're running a country. And accountability is a hallmark of running this country. Accountability is a hallmark. No matter how you're going to bring people, how you're going to consider us, but we're not going to waver on a stance to ensure that public accountability is a hallmark of national governance. And it's important that we keep doing that. So now, but this whole idea, in the face of all of the public debate and concerns about hardship, difficulty, economic quagmire that have involved the entire nation, and people are crying everywhere, to the place people have become immune of hardship. You know what that means? Right? Our immune system has gotten so used to hardship, hunger, pestilence, and disease under the rescue agenda, to the extent where speaking out is no longer an option to some people. You just live through it. Right? Some people are just living through it because it is almost clear that there's no solution anywhere. They're not going to find solutions to any of these things, no matter how you shout. And that's how most people are living. So they're just going to be there, they're hungry. When they die, when they survive, some people are dying. Some people are still going through. Because the government is supposed to address the issues about hunger and disease and measles. Children are still catching measles in this day and age. You have a Ministry of Health, and the president will be bragging and saying gibberish about revitalizing the healthcare sector of our country when kids are still dying from malaria and typhoid and fever. Pregnant women are dying giving birth in the country. Mr. President. Right? So let's see what this and this is carried in the closing argument. A concerned Liberian in the diaspora wrote this about this very judicial project. For him, what he thinks is trying to make his own sense of it. And let's see whether you share in with that. Already listened to the deception and contradictions and flip-flop from the government on it. So we didn't even know. So because of that, yesterday they took yellow machine and carried it. Why you won't be lying to your own people? You putting yourself on it, you forced to something, and you can't run government without money. You have to have the money, you have to make the allocation, and it has to be public, and we have to see it. Or do you have other sources that you're going to get the money from? And these sources have to be made public. How are we running the country? And people say they don't care about how the country is being run. But the cost is on posterity to face. The cost of running the country, right? Counterclockwise, history, the burden is on the next generation. Should we sit and allow the irresponsible conduct of these bonsues in power to entrap the future of the country simply because we want to be mediocre, simply because we just want to accommodate, because an old man is president, so we just sit down and allow anything to happen, just anything. His name is Mohammed Kumar, and he wrote this. When President Joseph Boakai broke ground on a $20 million justice complex, many people clapped. A new building, one location, no more rent sounds responsible. But here's the plain truth. When you are poor, you don't spend scarce money on buildings that don't produce anything. You can't eat building. You can't power a city with building. You can't grow an economy with a building. And Liberia is still poor. In fact, abject poor. Let's talk simple math. Let's be generous and say the justice complex saves $5 million a year in rent. Over 20 years, that's $100 million saved. That sounds good until you understand the dirty secret. The building is not being constructed because it is the best economic option. It is being built for other reasons, and I will explain why. Let's hear Mohammed. But first, ask the real question. What else could 20 million do in a country that lacks food security, power, and jobs? Let's slow this down and make it concrete. If Liberia spends 20 million on development today, here is exactly what that money could realistically build using proven technology already operating across Africa. So this is about opening our minds and thinking beyond the box. One, he says, power has to come before production. $5 million can build 5 megawatts of solar power, enough to power a full agro-processing complex, keep cold storage running 24 hours a day, eliminate dependence on diesel generators, and stabilize local electricity supply. No fuel imports, no generator noise, no bleeding foreign exchange every night, blending foreign exchange every night, just sunlight turned into electricity that works every day. So for Mohammed, he thinks, in this time and age, let's put our money, our scarce resources in things that change the order of the day and creates options. So for that $20 million, which of course they don't even have, but assuming that's the mindset of the arrest agenda in this Asian time, understanding ourselves as being poor, how do we change? Every year we can keep saying, oh, we are poor, we are poor. So he says, you take $5 million and build a 5 megawatt power plant, solar power, right? And use that to support agro-processing complex and build an agro-processing complex. All the farmers, all the support we're giving to farmers, producing perishable goods and stuff. Put that plant there and see what yield will be in the next year. And you see what commercial value that will add. And you see the new job you create locally. Once power is secure, production becomes possible. The remaining 15 million can build an integrated agricultural processing complex, not a warehouse, but a full system that includes cold storage for fish, poultry, vegetables, and rice milling and packaging facilities, cassava and palm oil processing lands, sorting, grading, and packaging equipments, on-site logistics, loading bays, and storage, and basic worker facilities and housing. You use the other 15 million to build that. Someone like maybe Bond County. Take a vast land, a government project, a government program. Look, we've got too much dependency on this, that, blah, blah, blah. Let's add some value. Let's give our farmers option. Let's change the story. Let's change the narrative. That's the first $20 million. You put it into that place. And that one will start bringing some dividends that could earn you some money, and you start to direct that towards your complex or whatever. Here's how the money actually calculates. Farmers bring crops to the facility processes them. Finished products are sold to markets, wholesale exporters, and retailers. Importers lost market share. Money stays inside Liberia. Every bag of locally processed rice pays a farmer, a machine operator, a truck driver, a technician, electrician bills, and electricity bill, and generate tax revenue. So that 20 million that investing into that, money gonna come. They're gonna pay income for other people across different, professional team and all that. That's how economics grow. Not with buildings, but with circulation. Put the money somewhere, it circulate, it go around. Conservatively, 120 million system like this produces about 6 million per year. As per Mohammed's calculation, this 20 million, when we invest it right here, put it like he said, we're guaranteed to raise 20 million per year in processing fees and value-added revenue. Creates over 1,000 permanent jobs across farming, processing, logistics, and maintenance. Processes roughly 30,000 tons of local crops annually. Avoid 40 to 50 million per year in food imports, and provides reliable electricity that does not shut down at night. Most importantly, that revenue does not disappear. It funds maintenance, expansion, new facilities, and the next phase of development. One project becomes two becomes four. That is compounding. Now, put that next to the justice complex. Put the benefit of that next to the justice complex. The justice complex produces no food, generates no power, creates no revenue, employs people temporarily, and requires maintenance forever. When the ribbon is cut, the story ends. With the processing system, the ribbon is only the beginning. That is the opportunity cost of this 20 million decision. So, why choose the building? Because buildings are visible. They finish fast, right? They photograph well. They are ready before elections. In 18 to 24 months, there will be a ribbon cutting. Cameras, flags, headlines, developmental gazebo. That's how developmental gazebo works. Processing plants don't look sexy. Power infrastructure doesn't fit on a campaign poster. And if a project isn't fully operational before an election, the credit can disappear. If President Bouaka builds a facility that only becomes productive in 2029 or later, and he loses the election, his successor cuts the ribbon and takes the praise. That's not stupidity. That's political insensitive. That's being politically insensitive. The Jimmy Carter lesson explains why leaders avoid long projects. President Jimmy Carter negotiated for 444 days to free American hostages in Iran. They were released minutes after Ronald Reagan was sworn in. Carter did the work. Reagan got the credit. Carter lost the election since then. Politicians everywhere learn the same lesson. Never start what you can finish before voters return to the polls. Liberian presidents are no different. Ellen built ministerial buildings. We have built parks and poached roads. Bwaka is building a justice complex. Different leaders, same system. Roads and building matter, but they are passive infrastructure. They don't generate revenue. I think road does. I think road does. They require maintenance and their benefits are slow and indirect. Systems like power generation, waste to energy, and food processing are active infrastructure. They create revenue, create jobs, and fund the next phase of development. Poor countries can afford prestige projects. Rich countries can. Liberia's entire recurring infrastructure budget is about 87 million per year. When you only have 87 million to cover power, water, food, roads, health, and schools, spending 20 million on an office building is not a neutral choice. It's a trade-off, and we are trading transformation for visibility. To run a government, recurring expenditure, right? We spend 87 million as a country. So to be spending 20 million to build just a building, Mohammed thinks it's not feasible enough. This is about Bwaka. President Bwaka is acting rationally inside a broken system. President Weah did the same, and so did Ma Ellen. The system rewards short-term visibility, ribbon cuttings, and projects that finish before elections. It pushes long-term planning, multi-administration projects, and compounding infrastructure. That's why we keep getting buildings instead of system. Before construction continues, Liberians deserve where is it? Liberians deserve answers. Where exactly is the 20 million coming from? So we are coming back. What infrastructure projects are being delayed or canceled to fund this building? Where revenue generating alternatives considered? What is the project economic return compared to other options? These aren't attacks, they are basic accountability questions. Find the truth. Liberia doesn't lack smart people, it lacks a system that rewards long term thinking. Development requires leaders willing to plant trees that they may never sit under, leaders willing to do the work even if someone else gets the credit. Until then, we will keep getting buildings and Liberians will keep waiting for development. That's his fair thought about the whole 20 million because it's the Liberian people money. So the government can just wake up and say, oh, we're taking 20 million, we're going to pull it in one hole. So Liberians got to ask and they got to share their thoughts and their view about it. And in fact, the minister said they're pushing to go and lie that the money there. And no money there. So let me open the phone lines and hear from you. What's your thought on this, right? Thinking beyond the horizon, out of the box. And this is a fun piece for us to juggle around and try to make sense and start thinking differently as a country and consider the very things that we cry for daily. No matter how you build the town halls, the hand pump, and all of that, the conversation boils down to what? Economic empowerment, job creation, and all of that. When are we supposed to start thinking as a government that invests public resources into what or issues that create jobs, create employment, and guarantee sustainable growth and development for the people? It's important. These are the hard questions that Liberians are asking. And that's why they're questioning some of the decisions that's been made. Temporary electoral pleasure and, of course, newspaper headlines versus sustainable projects that truly serve the purpose of economic relief and growth. as well as development. 0776 104 104, 086 500 104, plus 231 86 500 104 are the numbers to call. And let's hear your thought on this, and then we move to a much more political conversation here on this rigmarole over the reversal and, of course, non-reversal of the harmonization. Let's take calls. Good morning. Good morning, sir. No. We are not talking about Minister Gaffon. Yeah, we're talking about the Justice Complex. We're not talking about Minister Gaffon. So you have to be able to stick to this topic. If you can, then you wait for Mr. Gaffon on the topic. No. We've not reached there yet. So we have to learn how to address things as they are. Hello, good morning. Go ahead, Princess. Thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning.
You know, they're going to make it for all of the people. While they take the money from the Bay, the complex they are talking about.
Okay.
They are going to borrow the money again. They're going to get agreement, gentleman agreement.
So the question is, even if they borrow the money, they're borrowing it on the account of the Liberian people. So it's about how are they using the money? Is that the right way to use the money, or could we consider other things that would be more profitable to the country and create more jobs?
Yes. But you take the money to that Bay Machine Complex for who? Where are you taking the money from? You know what I'm saying? They put you to play for all of the Liberian people. Thank you, Abu and Hida.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Let's hear you.
Yeah. So I'm on the line in Abu. And Darren, there was something that you were talking about in the protocol, ministerial complex, and justice complex that was fulfilled. I think there's a bias. They're a little bit confused. He does not know what is the going. Does not have a second data in terms of what is conflict. What is called data is still on paper, but it's not in action. I think what they call rescue data. They usually have no data or anything. How can you come here and say you want to build ministerial for the justice, and the fire service when you do not pay for it? What happened to Mr. Brother? And you want
the question is the Liberian people money. How do we want it to be spent in the face of unemployment, economic hardship? Do we just want a building to be standing that brings nothing back, or we want it to be invested rightly? That's what Mohammed is saying. That's what we're asking.
Definitely, Abu. When you take a map of food to the people, they will not say they are marshal. They will say create jobs. Attract investors. Let our people work. Let our people work. Many are eating violence.
Thank you very much. Liberia is a poor country, so how do we spend our money? 20 million. Who does it impact? Good morning. Let's hear you. $20 million, assuming it's wasted in the hole.
Good morning, Abu. And good morning to the P11 for Lufa County. Abu, my name is Mohammed Gonzo Fana Jr.
Okay.
But I joined a conversation from the Japan Sea with Abu. Mr. Bwaka and his lieutenant, they are malfunctioning running our country. He can't run country like in the other directions. But I keep believing Mr. Bwaka and lieutenant are being like people. that elected these people 2023. Thank you for electing Liberian people, Abu. I always enjoy you on your platform. Thank you, bro.
Mm-hmm. Good morning.
Good morning. Daniel Abu.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you. I always say this for your service and dedication to your nation. This is the common question. I'm DOP Willie. I join you from talking to the show. That whole day of Joseph Company was just a fly. This campaign for propaganda purpose. They didn't come to cover. After lying yesterday on that lying day, as I would like to call this address, there are a lot of things that there are a lot of political backlash. At the backdrop of this backlash, these guys are going to be speaking. They are looking for another means of diverting the public attention so that they can start giving us too many political lacking. Now how they came up with that whole thing, that was just a propaganda stunt.
So for you think they're not going to do it? They're just creating a distraction, political distraction, to move away from the accountability questions.
Exactly, that's their political shenanigans. Just to say that when the public attention, they got one thing, they got keeping someone to do anything God just to come. I pleasure, I tell you, they can't. They don't have the capacity.
Okay, thank you very much. The minister said it, but we're just saying. No, I'm sorry, we can't continue with you. Imagine I said today was Tuesday. It's actually Wednesday. I'm sorry about that. Today is Wednesday. The way Arsenal flogged Chelsea yesterday.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Abu, my name is Rodilius ASUGN from Congoda.
Okay, go ahead, Rodilius.
Abu, thank you for the platform this morning, Allah. My things have been due to is risky mission government and who have been deepening relationship all around the country, reaching out to foreign partners. Every time you see on immersion, they say they are deepening relationship, and we are going deeper in the relationship. And we are yet to benefit from what we have been deepening. So what is it the government is really trying to see with all the going, the other Ethiopia, China is deepening relationship for 3 billion. You go America, you call the richest man in America, you call Donald. So with all of the deepening relationship, is this how they begin to stagnate the country, that the ordinary masses will continue to feel the pinch on their boats?
Okay. Regilia's final question. The government folks will find time to answer that. But let's come back to our 20 million and the rationale behind that. If, as a Liberian, you're asked as to how do you want the government to spend 20 million? Do you want the government to spend it building for ministries to be hosted, or you want it to be invested into economic initiative that benefit you? David King, let's hear you. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Abu. Thank you for the opportunity. See, Abu, I think the 20 million has been proposed by the government is a good thing to have the complex. But like one of your callers said, that thing was meant to carry on diversionary tactics. Because in this truthfulness, we will not see that happening. The lies that were in the Sudan, that thing was done in order to take our mind from the lies that were in the Sudan from being discussing. So there's a
but let's pretend that it is a real thing, right? What your thought on it? Let's pretend it's real. I mean, assuming what you're saying is a propaganda.
Yeah, but I think like we saw Manaseli reflourishing the health ministry in Congotan. Similarly, it is what was done over there. President Doe broke ground for that place to be built. It did not happen until he died. But the government came to power with no plan. And the government that came to power with plan, they will get started with a plan, and you will see them working.
So David King, when the president secures that money, wherever he funds it, we don't know, but assuming he has it, When he spent the money to build that place, will that solve the bread and butter issue, so to speak?
No, it won't solve it. It won't solve it. But it will just ease the problem that we face with rental fees for public building. And, it will ease some of the problem. But in the truthfulness, I don't think it will happen because Mr. Bwaka, he tells lie more than he tells people the truth.
Okay.
Nothing will happen different over there, but just to ease the rental fees that we have to pay for offices that are occupied by government. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And so, economically, how much is that? So somebody says, since the public have been beating on and say, oh, the president he break ground for anything here, we see him bring anything. So the president to jump, say, even though times are high, people are crying, I'll put 20 million in the hole. Let's hear you. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Abu.
Morning, sir.
This is the voice. Yeah, this is the voice of Aliyu Alhamdulillah Sankamara. I'm calling you from Lower Margibi.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Abu, for the onset of this government, I don't want for people to say that their government will not get money. Their government will get money, but they are not getting the money the rightful way. If you look at the state who interpret Abu, you got to say who interpret, they are not contributing to the budget, Abu. This is the area they are going to get some illegal money to bring this money. And you want to say Abu?
Okay.
The lack of the issue of the yellow budget, the 285 machine that were coming into this country, and were not done the legal way.
But remember, the president got some good friends out there too.
Yeah, we know Abu, the president got a good plan, but
I mean, good friends. I didn't say plan. I know about Baga plan. Okay. I know about friends. You say you got good friend. Good friend wanted to bring machine, but then the French is poor, so maybe you got some other good friends out there.
Okay, Abu, if you look at how the government is running, the government is not even looking like a government that they were in power before. A lot of things they are doing, they are illegal. They illegal activities, they are going to continue on the city. They are going to continue on the city. Look at it going to work. But when you talk about the 20 million, it is necessary at this time, Abu, to pay an administrative complaints of those security sector.
Well, what do you think? That's what we are asking you. What do you think? Do you think it's necessary?
Abu, if you can retrospect, during the time of President Weah's first project, they were tangible. And these are the tangible we're expecting from these people, but we are not seeing it. Like, these things contributed to our economy. Like the pay of the YC. They help the parents to keep their money to do different things with it to be able to empower the family and the children at home. But the level of the administrative complex, the government will be spending money. The government will be raising food to spend money.
All right, thank you very much. Fair point. Hello, good morning.
Thank you. Morning, Abu. This is Edmund Carr. I'm the visually impaired.
Okay.
Pushing for the return of President Weah 2029. We have quote unquote $10 million project in Lofa, another $20 million coming online. So I would say that it is important, it is good, but you cannot focus one side and leave another major side that is contributing to the livelihood of the Liberian people. And someone talk about, so they were asking them why did you build your business school, PhD? Yes, we were doing all. When we gave free tuition at all government universities across the country and pay what fee, it was impacting the livelihood of Liberian people. So if you have the opportunity of getting some funding from some friend around the world to make intervention in other areas, it was important to do so. But looking at this government that want to do projects, quote unquote, to impress people. So if I had the opportunity to read a paper, I would say that we would direct that money from now to another area. Because we are having a lot of unfinished projects, right? Most of the data is complaining that CDC almost hit that road into Saclety. That the portion that left there is about $4.5 million. So up to the present Bwaka is into his third year, they have been been able to find about $4.5 million for the people to complete that road, to complete the 80 cycling fee. RRA road, there is no money, and they are talking about they are auditing the road. It's not about audit. They don't have money. So looking at all of these initiated with we do with our own money. And it's not lying there. I think it's just important that we shift some of those money to be able to complete those unfinished projects that we have and focus also on the very important issue. Because when you do that, it will be a serious economic difference, it will be a serious economic return for the Nigerian people. But even we just want to be bailing down and empowering ministry to save off from expenses that we have, money that we are giving to other people to ring their billing. Yes, it's good. But if you look at the economic situation right now, that is where we'll be coming up with our support that it is necessary that we direct our 20 million to other areas that will be able to be impactful to the Nigerian people. We are not saying it's not good. It is good. But from our economic condition right now, we don't see a time that we should focus on the LOFA, complete it, and send out other 20 million somewhere.
All right. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm okay. Masisi?
Yeah, Masisi. Thank you this morning for the show. So I want to say, then for the 2 years, and in the full water pocket or the full red pack. What if you told us? The one they always making money so that you get loud to cover. You get about with like every cover and this lie. It was your face. I can tell you that there was a class. That's the way you class. What's the way you get the class? Show me the way you get it. You don't get that one after that one there, they go break back. You see, when I come and say, oh, there is no money, but I will break. Don't tell me anything you're saying, they're possible. It will be so loud.
So that Lala breaking ground?
So loud, breaking ground. So loud, get 1.2 million, they get paid, come and welcome. Doctors are crying, dentists are crying, but you say, instead they get 1.2 million. What will any do? I'm voting for Pascal and the song from making the budget. Who are voting for you, say, it's too bad, get on you, and say you will win. When you have to do your thing, say, get major, so boy, now you get them from major to the old man. What's going on? Everything will be live. When you go there, one cost your money, one cost your back, and the open cost in school, in the ministry. What will you get from Pascal? What do you say? You have a meeting car, no car for it, but today you can't be able to vote, that you bring the budget.
So Masisi, you think Boaga really get time for the economic hardship? The people can be crying and complaining. You think Boaga really get time for it?
They better get time because it's more military that will keep Brian for some ministry. You get out there, so I take any action. So what if we see you join in the law, anything that you got to the last time, anything happening, like the government level, the president level, so the last, the better in the issue of our issue. What you do, we just see and say our money going to put that one and they're going to who. Now what you do? But if we are going to we are there, we're going ahead and put our backward. And we'll see it. So when they say put a fire to get to that fire, you know, there will be fun go to that. That is the wicked or make that for it. This will be the power and then no one be very power. So they want that thing, but fuck out, we'll get Edward. So there's no job for them. But they tell you, you shall for a job that they bring it. They get a little money for them for 5 years or 7 years to the children for the sea. If we are saying that they bring them go no job, they get to them for the job. Are you kidding me? You buy your body to the money, okay, your job, go buy your body. So they come in, then the man says that nothing will happen in the comment there. Nothing will happen to the country. So now they're thank you for having me.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Abu, my name is Krishna Kamara, and I call you this morning from Painesville. You know, Abu, the thing is, we are not against development in our country. So,
no, but that's not being again, because even the alternative that we're proposing or others are proposing are equally development too, but those are development that will put money in the pockets of Liberians and create jobs for them, and of course turn the wheel of our economy.
Very sure. Now, the thing about the judicial complex is a very good initiative, yes, but this is our critical question. Would this judicial complex address the very important issue? A few days ago, I monitored Amara Kone. Yeah. The expression on the radio was actually the demeaning and disgraceful for his office.
Okay.
He said they should go and they should be bread and water on the people.
No, that wasn't Amara Kone. It was the Minister of Finance, Augustine Gaffon.
That was Gaffon. Okay.
Amara would never made that kind of reckless remark. Of course, I know Amara like that. You wouldn't say that. That was Gaffon who said it.
Sorry, Gaffon. Augustine Gaffon. And so it was kind of a funny situation because at this point, we expect this government to have a priority, and that priority is to focus on addressing the issue of the people's livelihood. Now, only if the brother who wrote, right, he tried to spell out, clearly the ideas that matters. So you cannot tell me for God's sake, if this government really have a priority, then that priority is not targeting to address the economic issues of our people. Then you have a priority that will make impact for 6 years, and you can in 2 years.
No.
So in my mind, what the government should be prioritizing is create the farm to market rules, pay them off, create economic viability that can make the real impact. You cannot come to tell us say you're going to pay ministerial complex or complex, and at the end of the day, the poor are going to pay Congo. What impact are you going to be making? And you got to sustain that ministerial or whatever you call it, judicial complex, going to sustain every budget year.
You got to do maintenance and everything.
To do other stuff and what have you. So in my mind, what is to be done is let them focus, let them think about making strategy to work, that the issue that will impact people's life directly will be that focus. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Well said. And these are the views of Liberians on this. And sometimes it's important to have these conversations where you're able to generate organically the thoughts of the people on some of these things, because government money are to be spent for the benefit of the people. So instead of wasting the money in the minds of many to just build a building that would be cost on the government to an extent, to just relieve yourself of let's say $5 million burden as a country. What about paving the community roads, the farm to market road? Instead of dry season, you put machine on it. Rainy season is poor. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, Abu.
Morning, sir.
This is Mr. Cooper calling from Brazil.
Go ahead, Mr. Cooper.
Look, I want to go straight. I always told you, say, I voted for President Waka on 2020. Yeah. Look, Abu, the first thing is the planning is very poor.
Okay.
The immigration service and the fire service are operational institutions. The Ministry of Justice by itself is completely administrative. You cannot put these institutions together. Number one. Number two, I think the $20 million, if they had it, is a waste.
Okay.
It's a waste, complete waste. You want to use at least $1 million to build the fire service head office, and $1.5 million or $2 million to build the immigration office. You use $2 million to build the Ministry of Justice. You have excess of the money remaining. Why would you want to take $20 million to build the institution? It don't make no sense. It does not make sense. But let me bring you to something.
Maybe it's another window for some people to become millionaires too, to grab their own.
Yes. Let me tell you what happened. When the president said, when he asked the protocol, can I tell these people to sit down? That was a sign of that nation. They took the president with, look, no administrator would like to go over there. No president or head of an institution would like to go and sit with regular ground without asking major questions. The president is not to himself. The president is not in charge.
Why? Is that what you think?
Yes.
That the president is not to himself? Why do you think so?
Because the president remembers nothing. The president lacks the ability to analyze. No, he's lacks it.
Yeah, especially when you hear the president asking protocol. Should I ask?
Yeah.
Should I tell the people? Say no. That was so alarming.
And this is something you press have to pick up. Something is happening. This is a man that spent his age in the government.
But we have been talking about it, but the society is structured in a way that when we are talking about it, they try to demonize us. They say, yo, you ask about the president health. But of course, we've said these things time without number. And they're showing
there are people who listen to you. There are people who listen and agree with you. This thing had to be raised. You remember that president went to a program where they invited him on the podium and he turned around and was going on.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when the president had this program with you journalists and he got in a place and started shaking hands to an empty seat.
That's correct.
Something is wrong.
Oh, Mr. Cooper line has gone down. So, but anyway, so let's hold it there. These are we'll continue this round of so touching national conversation to really get the people come out beyond the politics of UP and CDC or ANC and all that. Let's talk about our country, man. And you know, so let me take the last call in this segment and then we transition. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead.
I agree with the Supreme Court. But
You're against what? You're against the justice complex?
I said I agree with the Supreme Court who said that the party is not in charge of the government.
But the previous caller said the Prenato is there and something is wrong with him. He's not in charge. So you agree with that?
I'm not agree by saying you're not in charge.
No, if you say not to say me have was now, you're not in any demeaning from me have was because the different instances he quoted, you see the paper somewhere he's shaking for somebody a normal human being to be shaking empty chair here.
What we are saying, what I'm thinking, the whole issue is that
so that OH can make you look at empty chair, be it about empty chair, you put your hand there to shake, eh?
So OH can be you,
no, that OH can make you to shake empty chair hand, that I want asking.
That one, and I know,
Thank you. Go ahead, make your point.
The paper was in charge. All those things are seen. You don't come to these people lying. Somebody can just come and say their own thing. Because go to the public is looking at it. But other people are doing things that is not the knowledge of the public. So be friends.
But what's the reliance now? When we be saying this thing here all the time, what's the reliance that actually the thing other people doing, they saying they probably not know about it? The probably said we went and read the sonar. Subsequently, it proved that some of the details in the sonar were untrue. And you say the probably not know about that. So that means the probably said can rehearse anything, he can review anything the gay he jago is stand there, he say it.
So you know the public having the people there to put things on their own. They want to have unity party complaint and the ministry complaint is talking about down there. Mm-hmm. Somebody just come up with a own thing, so they talk for the main issue.
Then the Pabe said when there, the Pabe said to the show too. So that mean that picture he painting of the Pabe said almost agree with the previous caller that the Pabe not to himself.
But the Pabe, you know, they're using that Pabe.
What do you think they're using him with now? Juju or what?
I can't say you know because the president he's working. So
but nobody tell you say when there's an issue with the president, you can talk about it. No, we're not in that dispensation. That was Dotan and if that time passed. If the issue is about other feature now, so would that be beyond somebody even dumping or in a hole? Would just say the president?
Now I'm saying that
yeah, but the old age is costing us, you know, a lot of things. Our president is disgracing you. He's staying on the podium telling somebody, I'm going to tell the people to sit down. You not know he's supposed to tell people to sit down at that level? Yeah.
The Unity Party technology there. So the thing was done when they were going to that based on things I say, and I know about it. You don't know the Pape too, maybe sometimes that will ask the thing, will say, you don't know, and you can be saying, you don't know.
All right, thank you very much. And so Let's hold it right there. Let's take this break again with Crime Stopper Liberia. We come back, we talk harmonization. This one.
It's about music. There are crimes in many places. In every community, you can see. So if you see crime, report it. Don't take law in your hands for the right authority. Well, it can't take care of it. Crime Stopper here for us. Bringing safety to your door. Whether you rich or you poor. If you see a you must talk it. And I mean you cheche. Do it for your safety. If you see it, don't keep it. You must call to report it. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crimes for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia. From the center to interior, Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crimes for all of us.
Crime Stopper Liberia is your community crime fighting partner. Don't take the law into your own hands. Remember, if you see a crime, report it. This is a message from your own self, old man Sam Cyan.
Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crimes for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia. From the center to interior, Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crimes for all of us.
Crime Stopper Liberia, of course. This is the final lap of the conversation right here on Freedom 87.9, and you're listening to the Freedom Morning Rse, of course. My name is Abu, and so let's now go into our next round of discussions here, and that's going to highlight this debate about the reversal that's claimed by the Minister of Finance of the harmonization, a payroll reform initiated by the past regime to, for the most part, address some of the discrepancies with our payroll system, our national government payroll system, and of course, presenting a much more responsible, automated, upgraded payroll structure that reflects, discipline and accountability, unlike what they were as inherited when the former regime took over, according to the architects behind the harmonization. That Liberia payroll system was alarming and, of course, extremely, disjointed. When you have a government running two payroll system, one is discretional, and then the resources of the country that's meant for all of us, welfare and well-being, and then somebody, because the minister will be given the leverage to make a decision on who they bring and how they pay them. I said no. The harmonization sought to set a ceiling and say that it is the government that's going to decide who takes what for what role and what position across all of government. And it is not going to be in the purview of any individual to come and say, okay, I am the Minister of Justice, so I've hired XYZ and I'm going to decide how much I pay them. No, absolutely not. So the new government took over and have continued to pay run by the harmonization. But mind you, it has become a sticky subject simply because when the current team in power were in opposition, they hammered, and of course campaigned vehemently against the harmonization and defamed and of course misinformed the public. The harmonization was bad. It was wicked for the country. Only resting their arguments on the point where the harmonization affected salaries of those fat earners and brought it down, right, to reach a point of equilibrium across sector and across positions and all of that. So drivers all across. So if you used to be a driver for Minister X and then honor the old payroll system with the Unity Party, Elling and Bwakai, that ministry used to pay driver $1,000 or $2,000. Harmonization brought you or to the scene level, let's just say 500 or 700 across all ministerial levels, right? I'm just throwing numbers. So now, this debate has ensued. So it almost became like a challenge. So when the CDC was defeated, the CDC said, we did something for the country. We instituted a policy. We thought about something with our partners, right? To addressing this whole hollow baloo about bloated payroll and, inflated figures for just paying staff and people working in the government. And it was alarming to our partners. So we worked a solution out. But then you politicize it. You made it look like, and people were not prepared to even reason around it, and they said, oh, yes. So now that you come, so go and undo it. But mind you, it became a law, it passed and got signed into law. So harmonization is a whole law, right? So reversal of harmonization also means, right, undoing the law. So harmonization did not mean, in essence, from how it has been communicated, harmonization did not mean that as a Liberian government, you will never ever increase salary anymore. Salary will remain here forever and ever. And harmonization was introduced as an austerity to curb and cap government spending or salary, and have a baseline across different levels of government works and all of that. But it wasn't that as of the introduction of harmonization, nobody, no government will increase salary anywhere. No. Versus how UP apologists and rescue multi-banks are trying to paint the picture as if to say, if an action is taken at any level to increase salary, that means harmonization have been, reversed. That is playing on the intelligence of the people. And it is absolutely intellectually dishonest. And we need to be clear and we need to be factual and be real with it so that what we say matches with what is actually happening out there. Right? And to clearly understand these things, the population have to depoliticize to an extent. You have to leave the politics to an extent, because you are giving the politicians the leverage to always ride you, because you're falling to the playbook. You're refusing to ask the hard questions on those in power simply because you think, you're trying to satisfy your political sentiments. And country got to move beyond political sentiment. Until Liberia is prepared to do that, irrespective of who's in power, right? The citizens themselves. Forget about those people you call, that the BB politicians. No, they will not ask. They will always protect their interests. But you, the ordinary people, have to always, when you listen to us, we open your eyes on these things. We tell you, this is it, this is it. And you start to ask a question about that. When you start to ask the politicians, and they say, the people getting conscientized. We're getting conscientized. They're asking a critical question, then they will do the right things. So that was now harmonization, as UP folks are trying to make it. So, and nobody's saying we always need an environment where people can think and always uncover and innovate new strategy, new, improve, and effective strategy on running the government. if the CDC thought in that direction was to introduce harmonization, right? Then the UP says, we think we can do it better than harmonization in ways that we believe, as much as the CDC felt it was modest in its approach, but yet still it hurt, and the income of a segment of government employees that have reduced efficiency, and we want to augment efficiency. So we are sitting around the table. We're coming out with a whole new plan on an alternative, a structural alternative to harmonization that will equally fit and work and solve the same problems that harmonization solve, but with a lesser impact on the people. Then we are making progress as a country. But no, Liberia is not about that. You know what Liberia is about? They may do them one with tear, bring it down to prove a point that they may want not good. You run a whole country to prove two are wrong. Just imagine. You run a whole country and the entire government, the only desire is to prove somewhere two are wrong. And not even in a constructive and productive manner, but in a destructive way. That to make the point people are prepared to roll back the gains and dividend of a sound policy instituted, right, where government spend money to put in place, take it down, and go back. And there are consequences. All of you be out there, yelling. Where are you going to find money? Even under the framework where harmonization is applicable, right? Look at the percentage of the national budget that goes to PSRP. So you can imagine if they reverse harmonization and return back to pre-harmonization status across government. What would be there for PSRP? As we're saying, we need roads, we need money for electricity, blah, blah, blah. To the point where we had to close our eyes and sign the accelerometer deal, as much as it has all of the issues with it, sign it just to get bonus, to be able to get LEC money to pay for electricity. Because our own budget came from it. Just for accelerometer, get 200 million, and then we take some and pay for LEC. And take some and pay road. They Buja Island to Roberts Pool to Manekoma or where, right? To face that road. So will we always have to do those things before we can address public infrastructural concerns in the country? We say no. So the money we raise, we must be able to be discreet with it and find something, feasible enough to address painstakingly some of the social, economic concerns of the vast majority. But when we make all of the money and spend all of the money on running the government, simply because we want to prove something else were wrong and undo harmonization, we could go ahead and do it. Or we want done it. Even those who are supposed to be educated, right, and intellectual, you hear them, all they care is, let's remove harmonization, man. Some of them, they've not even taken time to read the law, read the Harmonization Act, to understand what is it in totality. What did they sought to do? What did they sought to address in our general governance framework? That undoing it needs to be, thought about thoroughly. So because we are too lazy at following details in Liberia, so politicians always knock us around. They always knock us around. And politicians love, lazy people. They ride them. And all they need to do is to just concoct narrative. So this is what the finance minister said in a bold-faced, deceptive attempt, right? Ignoring the actual meaning and application of harmonization. All he wanted was just to throw something out for the supporters to say, okay, we got something. Whenever to and say you can remove harmonization as a country, we'll say, we'll finish on doing it to the other place, So we're coming for the other place. Will we even see that? But let's see. He says, we reverse harmonization at LACC in the budget. We have reversed harmonization at the GAC. For the Supreme Court and judges, we have reversed harmonization. LDA workers will receive pay increases this year. We are reversing harmonization gingerly. Right? So for him, every time government makes an attempt to increase salary, he has reversed harmonization because politically, that's how they made harmonization to look. Like harmonization was a barrier to increasing salary, even though health workers and doctor salaries and teacher salaries under the CDC administration were increased, but they did not say that was a reversal of harmonization. And even though the harmonization law is still on the book, but Gaffron, that's supposed to be very educated, right, sits on public radio, ignores the facts, deliberately deceive the people, and lie out there and say he has reversed harmonization, but the law granting and permitting harmonization in our country still remains on the book. So what sort of smart intelligence is that? Now, let's see what former finance minister Samuel Toure said about those comments he made. It's important. Let's read it. Right? So, and Samuel Toure came back after listening to what the minister said. He said, Minister Gaffron, firstly, LSCC and GSC were never harmonized. So for somebody who have read the entire harmonization paper, you'll be able to know whether these institutions that the Minister of Finance listed as being harmonized are actually or were actually captured under harmonization first to begin with. So the man who was at the center of it, the minister then, responded to say that first of all, these areas that you are naming were not institutions captured under harmonization for basic reasons. These institutions already had one pay system. According to the Minister Toure, right? The central goal of harmonization was to synchronize GOL payroll from double payroll system to one. So these institutions that you've named, LSCC and GSC, when we came and embarked on harmonization, they already had one payroll system. So it was needless to harmonize them. The harmonization reform only applied a standard pay grade to their pay system, right? So for those institutions, harmonization acted only to reform the standard of pay or their pay grade system. This means they were now following a rule-based system to hire and pay people. That's what harmonization sought to do in those institutions. Set the rules on how you can hire and how you can pay people. But you did not have two payroll systems that we needed to integrate into the harmonization program to say we harmonize you. No. But what harmonization sought to do is to set a system on how you can hire and pay people at those institutions. Right? Outside a generally enforced equity-enhanced rule-based pay grade. This means they were now following a rule-based system to hire and pay people, not the arbitrary discretion of paying outside a generally enforced equity-enhanced rule-based system. So before, most of the government institutions were operating arbitrarily in terms of payment and stuff, without any equity, without any rule. Somebody just jump up because they're close to the president, they're a powerful minister, and they decide who gets what. Was that a fair way to run a country? We say no. And since they were integrated institutions, those LSCC, the LSCC and GSC, they were integrated institutions. The LSCC and GSC were never subjected to control exercised upon the more than 1,000 GOL entities that are part of central government. So these people, you can control them because they have some degree of autonomy. Secondly, as we have said time and again, reversing harmonization is not increasing salary. In its first year, harmonization increased the salary of 15,000 workers, and over the next 3 years, about 45,000 GOL workers got a pay increase, including UL instructors whose pay went up by more than 60%. And there are UL lecturers here who are made to you. Right? Under harmonization and CDC, people's salaries were increased. So how come now, under GAFON, increment in salary means reversal of harmonization? Well, what sort of logic is that? And when we tell you that GAFON is just some kind of overhype, from the day he took over, I've always said that he is some kind of overhyped. These were the people that were being used and, were brainwashed to believing that there's some kind of intelligent people. They're absolutely not. GAFON is not an intelligent man. GAFON is not what people try to make him look like. So reversing harmonization means bringing back the basic salary and general allowance systems that harmonization ended. So, at these institutions, GAFON mentioned, can his quote unquote what you might call them there, consultants, Vandala Patrick, Lloyd, Fadiga. Look at the men who are consulting them. Look at the caliber of consulting you get. Political noise makers. Collect them, put them and say, oh, they're economic consultants. Right? So can a consultant come now to tell us that at these institutions mentioned, we now have both basic and general allowance payroll system restored to begin with? Today, 12 further, we will simplify for you and your staff what reversal means by giving the public an appreciation of the system harmonization ended. We compare the before harmonization and the after harmonization salary of a typical worker, call him John Peter, and this before and after personal income tax, the PRT. Because the PRT deductions, people started also using that as harmonization and something. So for John Peter, right, gross monthly basic salary before harmonization in LD was $18,750. John's gross annual pay in LD was $225,000. John's annual tax using the PRT table, LD, was $10,250. So $225,000 minus 200,000 times 15, parenthesis close 15%, plus close 6,500. General allowance paid, and they one we thought that the basic salary. Then you come to John general allowance paid. Before harmonization, that's how it was looking. John general allowance in USD is US $150, but John is taking 200 in this, right? In basic salary, general allowance. So John total monthly pay in USD is basic plus his general allowance at exchange rate of 186 US $251. John's annual gross pay in USD is US $30,010. His gross. That's what government was spending on John before harmonization. John's annual tax before harmonization, US $199. Then we come to John after harmonization. When harmonization happened. After harmonization, GOL combined basic and general allowances paid What is John's pay structure now? John's annual gross salary is same, $251. His annual gross salary. Converted to LD is LD 100 at the rate of 186. This is $46,650 LD. Multiplying by 12 months gives John $559,800 annually. Applying one tax using PRT tables gives John $60,470. So his annual tax in USD gives $325. The analysis and conclusion. John's yearly tax before harmonization was US $199.90 before harmonization. His yearly tax after harmonization became $300, right? A yearly tax after harmonization, because it joined all of his two salaries together, becomes $325. This means combining the two salaries into one and abolishing the dual pay system makes John to pay US $126 more yearly. Every month, John will see $11 removed from his salary every month, because the tax net is being applied on the both, being synchronized as one. So this deduction is not a pay cut. It is due to the fact that taxing John separately made him to pay lower taxes. All government workers throughout the world are paying PRT on a single income. Before harmonization, thousands of workers were paying taxes separately. This was the reform harmonization targeted, abolishing this dual pay system and having the one pay system the rescue government is currently using, that they have used for 2 years. John's losing $11 monthly is due to what we call the harmonization combined tax effect. For those of you, the harmonization combined tax effect. To reverse harmonization, the government of Liberia will have to reverse this harmonization combined tax effect by going back to the basic salary and general allowance system harmonization ended. Without going back, the harmonization combined tax effect will remain permanent until Jesus Christ returns, to said. And this analysis does not even consider the Social Security contribution, but we spare the public this detail. This is one reason why we say you cannot reverse harmonization, and of course, you cannot stop the judiciary from paying taxes on any portion of their salary, something harmonization also ended. So tell the public what you and others in the government already know. You politicize harmonization to get to power, and you cannot reverse it. The National Remuneration and Standardization Act, on which harmonization was predicated, mandates the government to provide regular increases to government workers while maintaining pay equity. So even in the same law that granted harmonization, it says government should keep increasing people's salary. So if you increase salary, you are following harmonization. In increasing salary, you are following the reinforcing the mandate of harmonization, not reversing it. And hope this helped, he concluded. So there were technicians behind the scene also working on harmonization that have also responded to say, no, we can't sit by this and see how this thing goes like that and stuff. So we need to say something. And a few of them have been saying some things that we also want to bring up for you to have a clear perspective on what this is. Jeff Francis Ware was one man at the center of the whole payroll reform and, of course, harmonization initiative, as well as others brilliant Liberians that worked in the department. Like the number of payrolls, the annual inflation numbers. Okay. No, this is now what I want. Okay. Saw this thing somewhere. Let me see. All right. But okay, let me bring you this other detail here that I also captured and saved. So now, a spreadsheet comes out and that's produced uh, uh, by Benedict Koluba on this whole GOL wage feature. He says GOL wage feature before and after harmonization. To painting a broader picture as to what it is and what the questions and concerns should be about. Before harmonization, pre 2019, right? You say evaluation, pay and payroll processes in the government of Liberia, 20 April 2018, before harmonization. One, remuneration structure, dual system, official basic salary, 31% plus discretionary allowance, 69%. That's how it was. Salary standards, non-uniform schedule, widespread misgrading and inequities. Total wage bill reached 323 million before harmonization. Total wage bill 323 million, 67% of budget, right? So the total money now you just to pay people that are working in government was accounting for 67% of the total budget in the country, fiscal year 2018-2019. Payment technology or RT system, no EFT for USD allowances, IFMIS or CSM for LD, USD managed via manual spreadsheet and checks. That was how the whole payment system was looking in the country before harmonization. Payment schemes, fragmented, official salaries, LD, and allowances processed separately, right? Mobile money, limited use, pilots in specific sector, example, teachers, personnel data, disconnected, manually managed repositories, data integrity weak. That's how things were. Unique identifiers or verification. Pre-harmonization, under the subject unique identifier to identify government worker and be able to verify. So the system lack unique numerical IDs, rely on manual cross-check that's subject to human error and all of that. So somebody can just sit down and just manually say, okay, yeah, they won't pay, they want a government worker without any verification. Transparency and pay information, no pay slips, cash payments without breakdowns, limited transparency, right? That's how they were running the place. That's how the whole system was. Institutional control, high discretionary power for agency heads to award allowances. Pre-harmonization, agency head will determine, they will just get their concubines, their girlfriends, they put them places. That's how United Party was running the place. And that's how they politicized the whole reform. They didn't want the reform to be that way because they want the system to work for a few elite and they should all just be the one to benefit. Equity outcomes, right? Or put uneven compensation, limited protection for low paid staff, no protection, right? So to speak. So after harmonization, this is how harmonization made the system. And you agree with me that this is absolutely ridiculous, right? So when harmonization came and got implemented, this is what happened. Single stream allowances largely abolished. One basic salary per employee, no separate, you go take person, you take person, no. Bring one system where the government will be able to review and look at and see it, and no one man will be deciding who gets what. Standardized pay and grade structure apply across spending entities, and the records are there, right? As opposed to no uniform schedule, widespread misgrading and inequalities or inequities, right? The harmonization sought to standardize pay and grade structure apply across spending entities, right? That's reform. Reduce to what? So instead of the wage bill accounting for 323 million, 67% of the budget, right? When harmonization was implemented in the first fiscal year, it reduced, right? It reduced the wage bill to 297 million from what? 323 million. Do you know how many millions were saved there? Right? About $26 million were saved just the first year. So the percent of money now that was being spent on salary alone was just 56 instead of 67% of the country money in fiscal year 2019-2020. So our harmonization also migrated to ATAPS, automated payroll supporting dual currency, USD and LD, and verify payout ratios. So automated the system, move from analog, discretionary, manually paying people. One man will just can be on loan list instead of government people. One man will just bring a loan list instead of government people and just pay, and government will just pay them. Say no, we can't keep running the country like that. After harmonization, government payroll system got unified, single payment scheme covering both US and LD. Nobody taking separate allowance and basic salary anymore, right? So to reverse harmonization, these are all the things you got to change. These are all the things you got to stop. You got to go back from. Expanded mobile payment increased. Example, 14,000, 30,000, but late from 14,000. So it increased mobile money payments from 14,000 to 30,000 by late 2019. One consolidated personnel repository, 73,507 entries clear. You can go straight to it. You know how many persons are working. But before harmonization, no, you couldn't, right? Integrated with NRI biometric numbers for unique employees ID. That's what harmonization did. Improve validation and audit trails via biometric NRI integrated and ATP's logs. So to reverse harmonization, you have to reverse all of these ones. Automated records, SMS notification, and clearer payroll breakdowns. Centralized access. Curtailed discretionary allowances, strengthen reconciliation and payroll controls. Trade-offs. Something higher earners face cuts. 15,000 low pay workers receive increase. Health education protected. Right? So those who experienced costs when harmonization were introduced were higher earners. They fat salaries. Or teachers, University of Liberia teachers, public school teachers, health workers that receive increment, that know very well that before harmonization, the money they were taking and doing harmonization in the CDC period, the money they were taking were way more than they, right? Decided to be political and focus on the tax deductions that were happening. And they say, oh, every money moving, but you are taking more than what you used to take before. You're not interested in that. But because you being opposition say harmonization was bad, so you say, okay, we'll join the people. So, and no matter what, once you work, you got to pay tax. Tax will up, even up to now, they're still deducting tax. So to reverse harmonization, stop taking tax from the people too. Don't take tax from the people money. Just get the money to them like that. 0776 104 104 086 500 104 plus 231 86 500 104 are the numbers to call. Basically, what we seek in public service is honesty, transparency, and integrity. Let our officials stop lying and tell us the things as they are, and stop taking the Liberian people for play toys. And you just knocking it around anyhow, right? 0776 104 104 086 500 104. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, brother Abu.
my name is Football Sparkler. I do join you from District 11.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so what you're discussing all Mr. Kafwan lying to the Latvian people. Mr. Kafwan, the senior fellow, just got down, he said, he can't go to the Ministry of Prayer in Porto. Kafwan is the man that therefore pleasure in lying to the Latvian people. And there is the Eastern. You know, if you have a father in your house, you're always lying to your children. When that child or children grow up, you always carry that spirit of lying. So Kafwan has got that system for the excellence, the bishop, the bishop, the deacon, for the Baptist church, for the 7 years, for the old man, they always lie. He lie to the legislature the whole time. So Kafwan is phoning that ceiling. So I want to say, Mr. Summer 12, other folks, thank you for debunking his lie. That coming against the womanization. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning, Abu. Good morning, I'm listening up.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Prince Dugley. I do join for district number 2, Lower Market County, Hadassah. Abu, let me say thank you so much for the topic on our discussion. But I probably to recommend to you guys. We are trying to ask people to please try this. You can find another station to be really for you. Many guys want to listen to you people, but because to get the station on your own phone is very difficult. Now I have to buy radio with long after I go reaching you guys. So I'm appealing to you people to see out there another song station there to be really for you people that the network will be spread out.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so that was it. Yeah, we'll give it consideration. Good morning. We know the demand is very huge for our voice across the country. Gingerly, we will approach, let me use Gafwan word, we will approach the issue. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, how you coming on?
I'm fine. Let's hear you.
Joseph T. Durant calling on the township of Louisiana. You know, people feeling with Union Party, they can get money, they can't usually allow money. So when you have money, you can't usually allow it, you can afford deficit. So they're facing it high on the side. So no other way they are looking for need. They're trying to make something where say those farm, but they are negative. So we are watching them and looking for all negative who to get a book on all of the place. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And so more calls on this. Let's hear you. And then when they finish telling the lies, they come and try to make other people who try to be critical to look like they're evil. Hello, good morning. Let's hear you.
Good morning, Baba. They tell you I was in a bank. Yes, I will look at them. They cost the children money. They say $US. They said that, but when Joey employed me, and I know both, but I will pay do something when they hammer now say a kid to 160. Plus the LG, $600. So you're looking at them laughing. You had a poor money. They said that people here they will never get easy with Joey. They get here to talk plenty. And they think they come in mess up with Joey.
So all that thing they're talking about, they're cutting other people's salary.
Yeah. I said they cut the children's salary, the children were complaining. Now I just here dropping. I said, how you laughing in my heart? I said, you'll see.
Okay, man. Thank you very much. Our man can just be in the bank to the be is dropping. Good morning.
Good morning, Abu.
Morning.
I'm taking from tomorrow.
Go ahead.
Abu, the women are putting power. The people came to see. They came to laugh. They came to laugh. Abu, what is salary they put the alley off? You know that they work a man up to 9 steps that president. What is salary they alley off?
How you not believe that in president?
They may not say that in president. You see what's going on, Abu? What's the money for property saying all the law is the law? Abu? And they still that break for border parliament. You were there, they were telling her that they won't pay Benin, the whole country shaking. See today the country shaking.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The conversation about harmonization. So you've listened to the clarity. Let's hear you. What do you think? Did Gafon get it right or wrong? Morning. Okay, that caller has dropped off. Good morning.
Abu, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Abu, my name is Israel Kamara, and I called you this morning from Prince-Road. You know, Abu, when I listened to you say the finance minister said that the salary amortization has been undue or reverted. So I begin to ask myself, under what condition? Because the year reading the entire policy document, the idea, reach.
Because most people know what harmonization actually meant to do, and so they're playing on the people's mind. So we're not going to allow these things to happen. So now you know what harmonization addressed, some of the key issues, what the system was before harmonization. You saw how it was so terrible.
Abu, over a year, we saw during the Balanceri 12 years administration, people, government officials or government workers, civil servants were paid in check. Remember, they used to come in the streets and change those checks on the street. So the commercial banks are not being there to pay out those checks.
That's correct.
Right? Yeah. So we saw that there was this organization of government payroll structure. Now, if we are government, we ought to come and structure the payroll for national government.
I think I'm cutting you up, but you used to see money changer is to make money because one man will bring 20 checks, government checks, can you change it and stuff.
Of course. So,
we are beginning president. None of these things were happening anymore. That was as a result of harmonization policy.
Very good. So the whole structure there, the government were able to sit down with 8 technocrats at the time. They were able to sit down and they were able to design because it was important that the government were able to transition from where it was spending over 80 to 85% of our national budget on recurrent expenses. So there was a need when the United Nations mission was being drawn down. There was a need that the government be able to cut for expenses down so that they can meet all area of national development, for example, roads, healthcare, delivery. I'm alive, Abu.
Yeah, you're alive. You're making a good point.
Healthcare, delivery, and the education, and the rest of the good things that government had to offer in terms of from national leadership. But then, those things were done at the time under the Weah administration because the Weah government thought that the foreign partner were also advising that if government does not go that direction, the government were going to crumble.
But the government was spending 67% of the total budget just to pay people.
See that, Abu? See that? So I think we should be commending the Weah government for setting up our payroll and making it to appear now as the standard required. Unfortunately, the government, they account with propaganda. They are always in the makings of falsehood. And now you can see the finance minister himself, who is expected to be a professional person. They are all providing lies to the public. The salary amortization has not been undue. And was a very good player. It got two many different indicators into A.
Thank you. I have to hold you there. Let me see. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Yeah, Abu, you guys will be independent. You got a journalist. Yeah,
So what's the dependency? We did the reading both ways. What was harmonization before? What is it after? We read the statement the finance minister made and the counter that was offered by the former finance minister. So what's your definition of independent? To come in and praise Gafwan?
No, you can always defend the past.
Yeah, because it's our job. No. Listen to me, my friend. Our job is to be critical and ensure that the government today deliver on its promises. And when there are actions taken, we compare it to the past and tell you that this produce more benefit to the Liberian people than this. That's not being siding with the past government. It's being real. We compare the policies, right? You were there. You were paying salary on the street, giving one man 20 checks. Nobody know the total number of people working in government. Anybody can just go and can submit list. Government will pay money to them to carry. And then a system come and reform that. Then you want me in my right man to sit down here and say, because one minister say on radio that he ram on, I'm sitting and supporting. No, I'm too educated for that, my friend. I'm too very educated for that. Thank you. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
This is Washington Show. Now I call from Diesel.
Go ahead.
You see, I mean, the government fail all over. It's a funny place where people will pray them, but they can't find anywhere because they promise us job, no development, anything. So right now, they're talking about on doing harmonization and they will fail. this government always feel every sector, every community is going. People don't want to hear about that. They know more job. They know that. They know where. They know that. The people ain't looking at them anymore. So they just finding means that people pay them, but it is like come on, they just say can't be just to survive.
Thank you very much. You made a public announcement that you read some harmonization. So okay, let's see what harmonization is. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Daniel Bogato Yima Jr. and I come from Baptistville, Keba, and the Pioneer community.
Go ahead.
Probably known as the human working encyclopedia, the historical wizard. Right? You see, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, I quote, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. That is supposed to be a thing. All right? We are watching from the stands. 2029, there will be a political catastrophe for the Unity Party and now the U-based. That is do anything they want to do. Because you know what, 4 years ago we are coming back, they can work for you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Abu.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Mohammed Danzo.
Mohammed, you have to shift a little bit. Your background is terrible. Okay, better now. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to ask for the green side. Welcome on the discussion. What happened is, I want I will just come to the real estate depending on that.
Okay, thank you. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Abu Hega.
Morning.
Emmanuel W. Wesley, one of Kentucky City.
Go ahead.
You see, Abu, who was sitting out a little corner, can begin to lie to us. They put you on the basis of lying to people. Anything they do, they can lie. No day, somebody doing you never going to bring back, how much they bring it back. You must reserve a policy, they must kill you on the spot. Sometimes you have a statement. Sometimes they will never be able to have a
too.
Yeah.
Don't be kidding, baby.
Yeah. Remember, reserve a policy. So that boy can bring it back. They can bring it back, Abu. They can bring it back. They get talking lying to the people every day. They get lying every day.
Okay, thank you very much. So here's the thing, and you got to understand this, right? So they say harmonization. The message harmonization is a whole, stuff. It's a whole reform policy. So you're saying, so twice say you can, and you say you not do it. Then you name institution. So the men who work under the men say, but the institution that you name, they were not even captured under harmonization. Then the other man saying out somewhere, he said, then in my right man, I see the damn, but she still go say, oh, so look, y'all won't force thing down the throat of the Liberian people, lies. You won't force it down the people, and people have to accept it. You don't want to accept any critical, independent, objective, analysis or review of what is happening in Liberia today. When Councillor Gonglo speak, you insult him, right? When Cummins say his fair, business, administrative opinion about how things are in the country, you insult him. So how you only want to see truth and objectivity from one prison? You're not prepared to look at the other side. So who is actually having the problem? It's you refusing to accept that what you brought on here is a mess. It's your refusal and your insisting to accept that this government is a terrible disaster. That's why you're always uncomfortable. And you always feel like we are being biased or we are being unfair to the system. The system itself is being unfair to itself. The system feels like it can feed on lies and deception. And we said, no. You said you're going to be better than the CDC. So when you say you've done this, we put you against the CDC in that area. And then we make a fair judgment and put it to the public, and you see it clearly that the CDC normally, regularly outshines your rescue folks. And this is it. Nothing's going to change that fact. It don't work. The moment the government started working, I'll come right here and tell you, say, yeah, the government have done this, they've done that. So let's take this. We got to go, man. Time is up. It's exactly 10 o'clock in Monrovia. Thanks for being there. Thanks for always supporting the show. We're going to be back here tomorrow, of course, for the final edition of the week. And we hope to have a guest, a very important guest tomorrow. But let's see. Join us tomorrow. It's going to be a very important and interesting conversation. Until we see you, my name is Abu Sharif. And it always feels good to be here behind these microphones, talking to you, our people, on the most important issues that matter to all of us, and even our children and children's children. Until we see you tomorrow, do have yourself a wonderful time. Bye-bye.